Kemi Talks Media. It's Sunday, the 29th of December, 2024. We're getting breaking news coming out of Washington, where we're learning that the oldest living U.S. president and the 39th president of the United States, Jimmy Carter, has passed away at the age of 100. President Jimmy Carter died today in Georgia, and he celebrated his 100th birthday on October 1st, 2024, which is also significant to Nigeria's Independence Day. Carter has a very tight link with Nigeria. He was the first U.S. president to visit sub-Saharan Africa, and he chose Nigeria. In 1978, President Carter visited Nigeria while General Olusegun Obasanjo was the leader. I was one of the kids at the airport to meet him on that day. I'm now 60 years old, and I remember that day vividly. Later on in life, I got to meet President Carter when I moved to Atlanta in 2003. I visited the Carter Library. The Carter Foundation did a lot of events. They even came back to Nigeria after the presidency. President Carter came to Nigeria in 1978 with a little daughter, Amy. Amy Carter should be about 56, 57 now. Mrs. Rosalind Carter passed away a few years ago, the First Lady at the time. Both First Lady Carter and President Carter visited Nigeria a few more times to give us aid from the Carter Foundation and educate us about many things like diseases, sustainable living, water, name it. He was very involved in philanthropy. Now, President Carter, I also met him at the funeral of Martin Luther King's wife, Coretta Scott King, where I was covering as a journalist. At that funeral, there were at least 5 U.S. presidents in the room. It was incredible. And I met President Carter again on that one. Some of you have seen the pictures on my page. He was so beloved. He was so kind. And I know this state funeral they're going to have for him, it's going to be interesting because, I want to say this. This is my opinion. Don't take it anywhere. It's my opinion. They're going to bury President Carter within the next 7 days. Gather that Americans bury the dead within 7 days, unlike we Nigerians months later. They're going to bury him before Trump comes into office. President Carter voted for Kamala Harris. He's not a Trump fan. So I'm thinking he's going to have a state funeral in the next week or so, while Biden is still president and Kamala paying their respect. I think Trump should actually attend that too. At the end of the day, death do us support, and we have to move on. Thank you for the memories, President Carter. I loved his smile. I used to tease him. And let me tell you, for everybody that you worked with all over Nigeria, all the philanthropic activities, it will continue. That NGO will continue and will continue to help people around the world. Thank you so much, President Carter. Now look at that picture of me at the airport, and those memories are great. They were great. They were just great. Thank you for listening, everybody. Rest in peace, President Jimmy Carter.